can't show you right now because I'm actually filming on my iPhone app, which didn't realize was kind of a pain. But if you go to the Expo app, you gotta believe me, and you'll see the local host running. So you could either, if it doesn't show what's running, you could either just click on that or take a picture of this QR code and it'll actually run the app. And what I mean by that is if you did the simulator, it'll look exactly like you would in a simulator. So if we scroll down, since I don't have the app, I'm going to do I for the iOS simulator. You could do the Android emulator as well. And this is why we need Xcode. So this simulator is from Xcode itself, which is why we need to download that 10 gig, 12 gig, however big it is now, thing of Xcode to use Expo itself. But the awesome thing is that, we have an error. This version of Expo is out of date. Uninstall the app and run again to upgrade. Okay, now it's working. So maybe that's a good thing. What had happened was it said my app was out of date. So not the code itself of Expo. That needs to be updated every once in a while too. But what it meant was I had used Expo in the past in this simulator specifically, and that app needed to be updated, which is the first time I saw that actually. So all I had to do was just like you would go to your phone and go to the home page and then delete the app itself, hold down and then click the X button and just go to the App Store and install it again. That's basically what I just did, and now it works. So maybe that's a good thing that happened. So if that happens to you, usually the yellow warning signs won't break it, but apparently this time it did. Anyway, now we have the app running and we have some commands. If we do Command D, it'll show this screen again, and we could actually do debug.js. And so we could debug it just like we would our regular web page. And so we show our app. It's just got to reload again, so that JS is debugging now. And it says, open up app.js to start working in your app. And so just to show you, there's all the yellow warning signs. This one specifically is just warning you that it may be a little slower because we're debugging JS. That's not a big deal. There is a way to turn those off, but I usually don't like to because usually if you get a warning, there's something you can do to fix it and that you should fix it. And so right now I'm just going to leave it there, but for now we're going to open up our code, and it looks similar to our other applications. So we still have an app.js file. We have a class of app that extends React.components. So it's a little bit different, but I'll show you how you change that in a second. And so as a render, return, and we have our view that we're importing from React Native, and our text that we're importing from React Native, and our style sheet. So our style is going to be a little bit different. As you can see, it just looks like an object. So this container has an object of flex, and see the syntax is a little bit different than just plain CSS. But you can basically use all the same styles. The difference is this background color was dash color. Instead we're using camel case. So React Native and Expo use camel case for everything instead of dashes. So in regular CSS it would be align dash items for flex box. Instead it's camel case, capital I, and everything together. So a few small things which may be a little confusing at first, but you'll get used to it. And then I had the issue of updating the app on the simulator itself, but you also might run across a warning of the SDK version. So this is what kind of updates quite a bit. And the SDK version is just Expo's SDK, which is anytime React Native has an upgraded build, the Expo team will go about creating a new SDK, which they go through and make sure all the modules are still working after they update the core React Native. So like I said, it's a clear indication of it's still React Native, but an abstracted layer, so that right now we don't have to have Xcode open. We don't have Xcode open at all. We just have this simulator itself. So that removes a few obstacles in getting ready to start coding. And then this is Babel. I wouldn't worry about this. This is Expo specific. We have our package.json file, just like we did in the web application, and we're importing Expo, React, and React Native. So there's not a ton here right now, and we're going to start adding a few things as we go. We still have the node module folder we're not going to do anything with, and then the assets folder, which is just the icon and the splash screen. So this is app-specific folder images. We could add any type of images in there, but that's the only thing that's in there right now. So pretty bare bones right now. And then, as you can see, we have export default. So instead of doing the way we had it before is export default app. So that's just another way of writing it. And then if we do, I think the way we had it before was importing component like this. And if we just remove React, so this will still work. So there's a lot of different ways to do different syntax in JavaScript, which is a little confusing sometimes, but it also lends itself to flexibility in different ways that you'd like. And so I just want to make clear that it's kind of all the same. And in the next video, I'm actually going to transfer everything we did in the React web application to Expo itself to show you that they're kind of all the same stuff and how the life cycle of an Expo app is a little bit different than React, but it's basically the same. And so hope you join me. See ya.